help her if she's the shifter. No, because Sherry is alive and the dead person is the shifter just pretending to be dead.
I just want them to, like, throw her out the door of the bank with, like, a note on her chest that says sorry.
Sherry is gonna need therapy for the rest of her life.
She really is. She saw her own dead body.
She really did. And she got held hostage. Like, it's just been a bad day.
Look, what are you gonna say to that afterwards? Like, go to the therapist and say, I saw myself dead.
Yeah.
She looked just like me.
I mean, they have the body that looks like her, so, like, someone is gonna... There is a body. But the SWAT team has also breached the building at this point. So Sherry gets walked out of the bank, and Sam gets cornered by 2 agents. Dean gets hit by the shifter, and they're both in a fight now. So Sam's fighting the SWAT team, and Dean's fighting the shifter.
I like that this implies that the shifter can either, like, make blood to put on their neck, or they just carry around fake blood.
Or they just bled. Like, they really went for it.
It didn't seem
Or, like,
that
how does
that was a lot of blood.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, how did that blood come about?
Maybe they stole it when they killed the other guy.
Could be.
I need your blood. This syringe is innocent, I swear.
While Dean and Shifter Sherry are fighting, her like arm skin like peels off. It's really gross.
That was
I
gross.
have nightmares about that, actually.
Dean also takes a hit to the groin. Like, she just nails it. Surprisingly, he does not really go down. He really rallies and he kills her. More SWAT guys are in there, and it looks like one comes up behind Dean, but we're gonna find out that that isn't a SWAT person. We just see boots and like a flashlight. Then we see Henriksen is like coming through the bank, finding all of the various bodies. Like, and this is when I had like a moment. I was like, the shifter looks like Sherry, which means that when the boys got arrested in Baltimore and they were gonna like exhume the shifter that was pretending to be Dean to like be like, how is Dean alive if you said he was dead? That means that the body they exhumed was like Dean's body. So that's I'm sure it was confusing.
Did he have a clone?
I always wondered that because like I thought that shifters like I don't know where I got this theory from, but I thought that shifters like went back to their original form when they died, but this episode disproved it.
Yeah, we had that question when we covered that episode. We were like, well, like, is that gonna actually still look like Dean or not? This seems to imply that yeah.
I wonder what a shifter's decomposition rate is like.
I don't know.
Because their bodies are just constructed so differently.
But his body looks like Sherry, which means that the shifter body looked like Dean when they exhumed it. And then B, her arms, like, skin has already all fallen off. And oh my god, I don't know what extra court mutilation charge that's gonna be on their, like, arrest records later. But, like, it looks like they took this girl's whole, like, arm off before they killed her.
Yeah, it looks like they did that slowly and carefully, when in reality it's just...
It just like, slipped off in the fight.
Nasty, peely kind of person.
Yeah. The SWAT team says they've checked the whole building and the Winchesters aren't here. And Henriksen's like, well, tear the whole thing apart then. They're like, yeah, we don't need to do that. And that's when they show Henriksen that 2 of the SWAT agents are tied up in their underwear. And we're all here for this musical cue.
Alright?
It is the best. Oh.
I love it so much.
It works so well.
When you think of Nightshifter as an episode, this is what you remember.
Yes.
Renegade by the Stick starts playing, and we see 2 fully decked out SWAT dudes approaching the Impala. It's Sam and Dean. They get in, they start pulling off the helmets. Dean says, we are so screwed, and then the beat drops and they drive away. It is so badass. We'll probably talk about it more later.
The song is good. The way they integrated it into the episode was good.
It's really good. It is.
It gives me chills every time.
Me too. I still get like full body arm, like hair standing up chills every time.
I mean, they worked it in perfectly.
I forget who it is that does like a lot of those like music moments, like is the person that's like, this song would be perfect, but like perfection. But that's how the episode ends, just with them driving away in the SWAT gear. I'm shocked that their car was still where they left it, but it's a good thing that it was. Like, we didn't have time to deal with another thing. But we're gonna go to some of the weekly segments and panels. We're gonna start with the death count. So this week we saw 2 deaths, bringing the on-screen total to 175, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the on and off-screen total for this episode, we had the jewelry store lady and the security guard from her store. Then Juan and Ronald both died from their bank. And then from this bank, we had the bank manager and Samson. So 6 people. So that brings the on and off-screen total to 1,282 plus.
Wow.
We're busy. crazy on this show.
Yeah, it was a high death rate.
God, I can't wait to see what we hit in season 15.
I do think about that a lot. I feel like it's gonna get really hard to count, like some of the episodes. The plus is gonna just be like a unknown mass of people. We also tried to assign an MVP of the week, so let's see who everyone would like to nominate as this week's most valuable person. Let's start with Meredith.
I really feel like the episode kind of focused on Dean a lot. So
okay.
I'm gonna give it to him.
That's cool. And Francis, who would you like to nominate as most valuable person?
I mean, I want to say Ron. Ronald.
Yeah, Ron can have this. He did a lot of work.
I feel bad that he died. I really liked him, and then he got
Justice
shot, and I
for
was
Ron.
like, oh. Yeah, so Ronald.
And Nick, who would you like to nominate?
Like I said, I want to go around, but I think I'm gonna go Dean.
Dean's good, yeah. I'm gonna say this one might be one of the most, like, truly, I think, deserving of a 50-50 split between Sam and Dean.
They were both working pretty hard.
Dean did a lot of the monster stuff. Like, Dean took out the monster and did a lot of the monster, like, stuff. But Sam took out 2 fully armed and trained SWAT guys and gave us the Renegade escape plan, which was genius. So I think that this would not have worked. This is a true collaboration. So I'm going 50-50 on the boys.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough.
Next, the Bechdel Test. Did we have 2 named women in this episode? No, because we just had 2 of the same woman.
They didn't talk.
No, we had a live Sherry and we had pretend dead Sherry. There was no other women in this episode.
We don't know how the shapeshifter identified anyway.
Yeah, we don't know who what the shapeshifter's
Maybe
gender
they're they.
was.
I usually refer to the shifters as they.
Yeah,
because
me
I just
too.
don't know.
We didn't even call Ellen to get her opinion on anything. It's just a full on no this week.
Dang, another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
We'll get one eventually.
This week's case of the week was a shifter. We've seen shifters on the show before. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about for the mythology section?
I didn't really do any notes, but I can probably pull some like random stuff about animal brides out of my butt if I can.
Francis, do you have anything? I know sometimes you have stuff.
No, I didn't do anything for shifters this time.
Cool. Nick, did you have anything you wanted to say about shifters?
Not really.
Okay, cool. Meredith, back to you. Go for it.
Oh crap, I didn't think we were actually going to take me up on that.
Go, Mare, go.
We don't have to do anything this week if you don't want to. It's cool.
Well, animal brides are a genre of fairy tale where you get shape-shifting animals that are sometimes taken prisoner by entitled men. Sometimes they'll steal the skin you use to shape-shift, like it's selkies, it's been birds like swans before.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a Selkie thing. Also, like, sometimes part of the werewolf myth.
They never end happily. Not for the shapeshifter, at least, but sometimes not for the guy either, which is, at least it's equality.
We know that there's, like, shifters that can do animal transformations, but we haven't seen that yet so far either. Like, we don't know what the limits are on this. Like, you can make yourself look like any person, regardless of, like, gender or skin color or size. I feel like animals aren't that different.
Well, that's why it's kind of hard for me to research shifters for this show, because there just aren't that many like shifters in mythology that transform into people. Unless you count like kitsunes, they're illusionists from Japanese mythology. They're fox demons, but they also transform themselves into different people.
Huh.
I can't believe I didn't remember them last time.
Yeah, there's not even really a lot of like shapeshifters in like, you know, novels or like TV that I've seen, like movies and stuff. I did
like
read this
werewolves
one.
are really popular, but
Yeah, the werewolves, but not like actual like shapeshifters. There was this one series that I read. It was about witches, werewolves, vampires, and shifters, but the shifters were such a small part of it, and there was like hardly anything about them, and I was like, I want to learn more. And I really wish that Supernatural had touched more on it, because like you said, we have the ones who like turn into animals and the ones that turn into people that can change their skin. Like I wish we could have had a little bit more of like the lore on them from the show.
Yeah. Dean says something really interesting about shifters in this episode when he's kind of giving Ron the little like mini Supernatural is real talk, where he's like, shapeshifters, because like last time we said like shapeshifters, they don't really need to eat or any, like they don't kill people to eat. Like the one that was in St. Louis was just killing people
For the fun of it.
Yeah, because he was like a sadistic monster. This one that they like found was killing people to get away with like robberies. Dean says like they have like mostly human desires. This one is money, which is like interesting.
Yeah, so it's interesting because the way hunters work, these monsters really only appear on their radar if they're acting out. So there could be so many more shifters that are just living their lives, and we wouldn't really know because they're not committing crimes and they don't need to be killed.
Our next segment is highlight and low light. Does anyone have a highlight that's not the end scene?
No.
Okay, let's just do low light and then we'll all come back together to talk about the highlight.
I can make Ronald my other highlight and like his X-File vibe.
Francis, do you have a low light in this episode?
I don't think I do. I think I really like the episode as a whole, and like if Renegade wasn't so amazing, I probably would have another highlight from the show, but it's a really good episode on its own.
It really is. It's like a fun kind of bottleneck one. There's not a lot of like there's no special children plot in it, but it does kind of set up this like other plot line that's going to be going on this season. So like I guess it's not really a bottle in that sense, but it's like kind of standalone up to this point.
Yeah, if I had to pick something, it would just be the low lighting, the fact that it was like dark for the
dark
for the half the episode, you know.
At least it was intentionally dark. Sometimes it's just dark for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
If I had to pick a low light, I'm just gonna say Ronald's death, because it was impactful, but just with what we see from the rest of the episode with the police, it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, like that guy arguing that it's too soon to send the SWAT in after the Winchesters, even though he literally would have been the person that would have had to like okay them shooting Ron in the first place.
Yeah, and if they wanted to add like a little extra scene where he calls out the guy that shot Ron, I'd be fine with that. But just please explain it. Explain why it happened.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ronald's death was my low light as well. Nick, do you have a low light?
I mean, I guess kind of going on what you said about Ronald. Like, I would have liked to see
if some guy got in trouble, or if he survived that shot, that would have been cool.
Like, I just would have been nice to have him the whole episode. Like, just add more flavor to it.
Yeah, he worked so hard, and he was so good in this episode, and then he's just gets killed off.
But that was really the only thing. That was the only thing, though.
Yeah, I think overall it's such a good episode. People die in this show. We just have to. We can be mad about it, but.
It's not the first one, we'll the last.
But we do have to get used to it and accept that it happens.
If you want to keep watching, just get used to it. You don't have to watch. It's
back
a show.
To
it's
the
optional.
highlight, which is, of course, the end Renegade scene. I was like, I knew this was going to be everyone, so I figured we should just talk about it here. That's like the perfect song in terms of like the lyrics. Like, Renegade's a song about a man who has been captured for his crimes and is facing the death penalty. He's running out of time, which is very much what the Winchesters were dealing with in that moment. They were very much on the run.
Well, also, they worked like with the contrast between the opening part, like the acapella part, and
so good.
The guitar part so well. It's slower at first, and they use like slow motion, I think.
Yeah. There's like acapella slow motion of them like running down the stairs. They get in the car, and there's a few like where the only sounds a heartbeat, and a heartbeat is again like a motif in seasons 1 and 2 for sure. But like there's a long silence before that beat drops. It's so good. What we hear in the shot is the first verse and the chorus of the song, and then the first line of the bridge.
Nice.
But the second verse actually has a line that goes, "The lawman said get him dead or alive. I was for sure he'll see me dead," which is almost exactly what Victor was saying, which was like, my job is to bring you in. Dead or alive doesn't matter. And I just thought that was really good. Like, it's not the part of the song that made the episode, but I was like, the next line would be that, which I thought was excellent. Honestly, like, the shot is...
Yeah. I wonder if Henriksen listens to that song.
There's no way to write that will have the impact that this has. Like, this is such a visual television moment.
Yeah, it's just the advantages of different mediums.
Yeah, you can't put that down in words on paper and get the same like impact as this had. Our next segment is called Call CPS. We don't have anyone specific to call on CPS, but everybody should have.
Yeah.
Okay, so Victor describes John's parenting in this episode, and he uses the sentences: ex-Marine, raised his kids on the road, cheap motels, backwoods cabins, real paramilitary survivalist type.
It's not pretty.
That's what's in the on-record file, which who even knows where that information came from? If they know that...
While you were training your kids to be hunters, you screwed up so badly that the normal people saw it.
Yeah, that's just what people saw, and that what ended up in their like permanent records of them.
Sure.
Who knows what was happening that people didn't know about? Like, that is insane. Everybody who knew about any of one of those things that led to those descriptions should have called CPS. Like, that is like, bad.
Why are they going to so many schools or so many motels or...
Paramilitary survivalist type should never be a parenting descriptor. That is held by someone who is still like in charge of their children.
Like, if you're just by yourself, have fun, be creepy.
I am all for like keeping families together together, but like that's clearly an unsafe environment for children.
Yeah.
Not the best idea.
That is exactly how I would describe like people who like raise their children in cults. Like those are words I would use.
I mean, that's pretty fair.
Yeah, that's not a great situation.
No, John
Yeah, no.
sucks. Mental health check is our next segment, and I'm not a psychologist. This segment is based purely on my own opinions. Weekly reminder, if you're struggling with anything at all, please reach out for help. This week was really fast paced. The boys were kind of in survival mode like the entire episode, but I did want to talk a little bit about Sam.